The next one is from Darth Vapor, who wins.
Why are you looking at the time, by the way?
I just want to get out of the studio and get somewhere else. Who wins, Prime Lomachenko or Prime Naz?
Prime Naz.
What? Welcome to Talk Boxing, the Q&A with Simon Jordan and Spencer Oliver. Don't forget to keep liking and subscribing to the channel, and of course continue with the trend of leaving us brilliant questions in the comment section below. But let's get on with these questions. Spence. Okay, what have we got? Marcus Small. Small? Okay.
You love the name bit, don't you? That's your favourite part of this.
Right, yeah. Kicks us off. Who would win, a Prime Hagler or Prime Triple G?
Prime Hagler would win that.
I agree.
Yeah, I just think that he was tough and all round. If you go look at Hagler Hearns, that first round, when Hagler shipped a lot of punishment, a lot of people will go on Triple G, and his main asset is his power. Well, Hagler could soak that sort of power up. What did he have? Like 67 fights, something like that. 67 fights, 162. Yeah. He was an impressive record.
I was
boxed
fortunate,
everyone.
Yeah. I was fortunate to go to the Minter fight when I was a young boy. With my dad. I wasn't fortunate to see the event and the scenes afterwards, but Hagler came over. I think Minter had beaten Vito Antuofermo. Yeah,
well, listen, this is the story. So Hagler boxed Vito Antuofermo, in his 50th fight and drew for the world title. In his 54th fight, he beat Alan Minter. Third round KO, but Minter had beat Antuofermo in between that. So Hagler was an all-time great, mate. Like you could just look, you just got to look back and see what he was all about. Have a look at Triple G, who's a modern-day great, but Hagler's on another level.
Hagler coming in and fighting Minter because Minter had won that world title, had been forced into fighting Hagler and was destroyed in that fight. Yeah. But the thing that I remember was obviously being a young boy and the scenes at Wembley, where there was beer bottles raining in, chairs raining in. It was an absolute riot, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. I think it was the best and the worst of British boxing in terms of Minter being prepared to take a fight against someone everyone thought was a huge jeopardy for him. Yeah. And ultimately the disgraceful scenes from the fans. Yeah,
beer bottles and chairs and all sorts going on. Yeah. Yeah, that was an unfortunate end to a fight where we was watching a
modern day great, absolutely. The beginning of a modern day great. Yeah. Right, Phil Lusted asks, another Hagler one, the Hearns versus Hagler fight in '85, round one is often quoted as one of the most explosive rounds of boxing ever. Do you agree? If not, what tops it?
Yes, I do agree, but I've got another couple. We go 2002, Mickey Ward versus Arturo Gatti, the first fight, round 9. Gatti goes over with a body shot and you think the fight's done. He's rolling around, he's finished. He gets up, he takes an unbelievable pummeling and then still manages to get through the round. Ward wins that fight and they have a trilogy and that ends up being Ward's last 3 fights. Ward wins the first fight and loses the next 2 to Gatti.
The fighter.
But it was unbelievable. Yeah, that round 9 was an incredible round. It really was.
I think some of the rounds that Lloyd Hannigan fought against Donald Curry were remarkable. I think the first round of the McClellan-Nigel Benn fight, when Nigel got knocked out of the ring, and the subsequent rounds. And I think one of the most memorable rounds that I saw live was Carl versus George Groves, Carl Froch, the 7th round. Where George just absolutely hit Carl Froch with absolutely everything. Love that. And I think that was around, was it Jim Watt who made the observation, brilliant commentary, he's absolutely out-fought Carl Froch. Yeah. And you didn't hear that very often, someone out-fighting Carl Froch in a gunfight. Yeah.
I've got another one as well. Riddick Bowe versus Evander Holyfield, fight 1, round 10. Absolute barnstorm when they go toe-to-toe. Evander Holyfield is totally gone. He's virtually finished, and with about 35-40 seconds to go, he turns it back on, comes back. Bowe ends up winning the fight, but Holyfield showed why he's a modern day great. That round was incredible.
We can take it back if we want to go back into posterity. We can take it back to George Foreman and Muhammad Ali.
Nice.
And that particular fight where George Foreman's worn himself out.
In round 7 in
round
Zaire.
7.
There you go.
Ali does what no one thought he could possibly ever consider doing. Rope-a-dope.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice. Let me go back. I've got another one. 1960. No, that's not. 1922.
Very good, Smith. Yeah, very good. Right. I was trying to. There was one other that I was thinking about. John McGarvey fight. I can't remember.
John the Beast McGarvey versus Marvin Hagler. Round 10. Like McGarvey punches himself out. Hagler, I don't know how he gets through it. Yeah. My memory's unbelievable.
I started it. I'm the fire starter.
Yeah, no, but you know, you've got an advantage.
Right, here we go again with one of these wonderful names that I always enjoy finding tripping off my tongue. Darth Vapor. It's happened to me. I used to be a captain of industry. I used to have significance.
I reckon the people that
used to own a
football
football club
know your reaction.
Yeah, that Jordan will read them out.
So what's his name?
Darth Vapor.
Do you reckon he's...
I can't even take myself seriously. I'm finished. Right. The next one is from Darth Vapor, who wins.
Why are you looking at the time, by the way?
I just want to get out of the studio and get somewhere else. Who wins? Prime Lomachenko or Prime Naz?
Prime Naz.
What?
Prime Naz.
Come on.
Come on, mate.
Come on.
Going back to Tom Boom Boom Johnson, like when Naz was like unbelievably, like Naz in his prime, and there was only...
Kevin Kelly, I'm going to smoke your boots and all that. Yes, I know all that. Yeah, but Lomachenko, you were sitting there last week telling me he's a modern day great. He's
a modern day great. He's a modern day great. But I'm talking about the 90s. He's a modern day great, but I'm talking about the 90s. You asked me who would win. Yeah, I'm saying I reckon...
But Naz goes in there and fights. The biggest fighter that he had to fight was Marco Antonio Barrera.
Oh, come on, he was done then. He was done then. He was, do you know, he was a stone overweight 2 days before that. He was sitting in his hotel room. I think he even drank the water out of the flowers because they locked him in the room because that's the reality.
Sounds a bit like you when you've had a few drinks. I like that. Rather than buy it, I'll drink out of the flower pot.
That's another conversation. But yeah, no, look, I think in their primes, a prime Naseem Hamed would have beat Lomachenko.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think so. But you're the fighter, you know better, apparently. Our next question is from Mark Smith. Not Mark E. Smith from The Fall, no.
Mark Smith. Mark Smith, wasn't he a gladiator?
No. Was he a gladiator? Gladiators.
There was Mark Smith was a gladiator.
They're called Commodores.
There was
Marcus Aurelius.
No, right? In the programme, Gladiators. Do you remember Gladiators?
No, I didn't. Oh, the one with Ulrika Johnson in it?
Yeah, absolutely.
No. I don't.
So you don't remember Gladiators, but remember Ulrika Johnson?
Because she worked for me.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Okay. So yeah. Anyway,
let me go back to my question. Do you think Anthony Joshua won the world title too early, and do you believe it's one of his downfalls?
That's a good question, actually, because that is possible. I think
well done, Mark. Good question.
Won the world title in his 16th fight. Is that correct?
I don't know. You're his PR. You tell us.
Come on, you're the man of knowledge. 16th fight. I think he won it in his 16th fight against Charles Martin, and he may not have developed enough from then. It's all about timing and whatnot, and that may be right because he was always in those tough fights then. So maybe he won it a little bit early. Yeah.
Why? Why is that? Is that because of his amateur career?
No, he didn't have an extensive amateur career.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So
I think he had 47 fights, won 43.
So what difference do you think it would have made? If he fights another 3 more fights for winning a world title, do you think that's going to make a marked difference?
Yeah, I do. At that level.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that you think there would have been a difference for him beating Alexander Usyk?
It's not like having your first 3 fights when you're getting gifted opponents to sort of like to develop. At that level, 3 fights at 12-round level is a lot of fights, and I think there's a marked improvement to be had there. And I think that the opportunity arose. He come off that Dillian White victory, and then he got stung into a world title fight. I think maybe if he would have went down the old Frank Bruno route, where you go down the European route and taking on a couple of European fighters before going onto that world stage, may have benefited Joshua better. Yeah. But it's all about opportunity. He was gifted Charles Martin.
Charles Martin, and then Klitschko, and then
no, it was Charles Martin. Wasn't it after Charles Martin? Wasn't it Dominic Brazil?
What, Eric Molina?
Eric Molina, yeah, that's who it was. And then I think it come there. Yeah, so I mean Brazil, Molina.
But these aren't
Klitschko.
I mean, okay, these aren't great fighters, are they? So he's got a world title and he's had 3 other fights.
Yeah.
Doesn't that sort of defeat your argument?
I understand your point.
Right. So your argument's just
you sort of went through the layers of the layers. So
yeah. Okay. Right, well, good point. Well made.
Yeah.
I bet you.
Who was that asked that question?
Mark Smith.
From
Gladiators.
He won the Vapor.
No, not the Vapor. Right, we've got Big Tony. Okay, Tone. This is a great question.
Big Tony.
In terms of structure, yeah.
Do we call him T?
T, yeah, all like that. Tony Soprano. Who's the best character in the Rocky films, bar the man himself? Tony's going for Mick.
Nah, mate, I've got one.
Clubber
And he's
Lang.
forgotten about. No, he's forgotten about. Paulie. Paulie's
right,
the best
yeah.
character. See, look, you forgot about him.
Bert.
You can't say he's...
What's his name? Burt Young, isn't it? Is it Burt Young? Is that the actor?
Bert Cooper.
Burt
He was a
Cooper.
boxer, wasn't he?
Burt Reynolds.
Bert Cooper.
He was a film called The Swimmer.
Bert Cooper
Reynolds.
boxed Evander Holyfield. And he had Holyfield gone. Holyfield was done. That's
Burt
not a
Reynolds
conversation.
had a film
Burt
called Smokey
Reynolds.
and the Bandit.
Yeah, he did.
None of this is relevant.
You're a bandit.
I'll leave that alone. I'm going to say, you know what I'm going to say?
Go on.
Thunderlips.
Oh, nice.
Rocky.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
Hulk Hogan.
Indeed.
Yeah, nice. What about Paulie, though?
Did-
Paulie was comical, man.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
thought you would have gone for Adrian.
No. Do you know what other film she was in?
I do, yeah, but...
Go on then. You don't.
He's
If you
left
do,
me.
you'd say it.
Godfather.
You do. Can we go now? We're scraping the barrel here, aren't we?
Any more from Vapor, man?
Right.
or-
Anyway, I hope you guys have learned a lot today. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to keep leaving the questions in the comment section below. Myself and Spencer will see you next week.